Welcome back to the channel, my friends. It's your boy Steve from Straight Fire Picks. We got your best bets for the NBA here for you today on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. We have your NBA player props, spreads, totals, predictions. As always, we got 4 picks in the video. Let's lock in and get this sweep.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire. All my bets straight from. You're in the house that Cab made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of your guys' support as always. Let's lock in and bounce back in the NBA, guys. It has been a tough start to the NBA season for us, and it continued yesterday. Yesterday, obviously, did not work out for us. Doing a quick recap from yesterday. We ended up going 0-2, minus 2.10 units. Obviously, we had a tenth of a unit on our Faves play of the day as well. Missed on Franz Wagner over 1.5 threes. Didn't have the volume. Didn't really shoot threes last night. Made 0. So that was absolutely a bad read by me. And I have to own that. And that was just terrible, guys. Should not have ran that one back. So obviously unfortunate there. Jaren Jackson Jr. over 30.5 PRAs. I actually thought was a pretty good read. I was watching the game, and when Jaren Jackson Jr. decided to go to the rim, he was scoring just about every time. Couldn't make a shot to save his life from three-point land, and overall was just pretty off for the night. He got the rebounds and the assists that you would have needed there on that one, but just couldn't put up enough points, obviously. I hit the over. Very bad shooting night for him. They did run some doubles at him, so obviously definitely unfortunate there how that one worked out, because I thought there were some opportunities in the paint. And even the announcers were saying, like, yo, there's a lot of opportunities in the paint. And Grizzlies definitely muffed that. A lot of people were on Zach Edey as well, and Edey ended up finishing with 8. And he looked good at times, and I was like, man, he's going to go over. And for some reason, the Grizzlies just, I don't know, they started settling for a lot of long jumpers and didn't really attack the paint like I thought they might be able to last night. So, very unfortunate there. We also lost day 3 of our ladder yesterday as well. Thought at least we'd get that at the end of the night. We just had Dylan Brooks left to get 15 points. He finished with 12, didn't play the 4th. So it was it was a bad day. It was also nasty again, just some of the way things went down. Blowout there in the Suns game. But it is what it is, guys. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm not quitting. Obviously, you guys choose to do what you want to do as far as tail or fade. We're going to get back on track. I know we are. We always do in the NBA. I know I sound like a broken record, but it literally does happen this way a lot where our seasons have gone like this. We get on an absolutely scorching run, and we don't stop. So, like I said, once the run starts, I'm confident that we'll be able to turn this season completely around. I'm honestly not that worried about it. It just sucks to not have the consistency at the start of the season. And obviously to be where we're at. So, like I said, I make a daily adjustments. I'm looking at some different things. And hopefully, that's going to be enough to get us to the window tonight. I like what we have in store tonight. And hopefully, obviously, we can deliver you guys a sweep here and make some much-needed money here at the channel. So, as far as our comic cappers go, though, we had Justin McKelvey calling the Suns plus 2.5. Lip Picks calling Steph Curry over 27.5 points, and got to get the bag calling Luka Doncic over 49.5 PRAs. So great call except from our comic cappers as always. Make sure you guys don't forget to drop your favorite heat down in the chat once again. Your favorite pick. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick for today's action, and if your pick hits down below in the chat, we'll include it in our next video if it hits. So yeah, that's how that works. Let's get after it today, though, guys. We got business here at 10-2. We got to make some money here in the NBA. Let's get right into our picks. And number 1. We're going Miles Bridges. Under 22.5 points here for the Charlotte Hornets. We got minus 112 odds here on DraftKings. So we just took Miles Bridges the other day versus the Thunder, and he cashed. His point line that day, I believe, was 20.5. Today it's up to 22.5. Obviously, they bump it up a couple points here for the matchup with the Pacers, whose defense has been pretty bad this season. But I don't necessarily think this is a great spot for Bridges, just given the lineup he's playing with, given the fact he's on the road. There's a few different things I like about this under today. So he's under in 10 of 14 games this season, under in 67 games played on the road. So he doesn't particularly perform great on the road as far as scoring goes. He's under in 6 of 8 games with LaMelo Ball, who's slated to be in the lineup, not even on the injury report today. I know it's a shocker. Normally this dude's on the injury report. So he should be playing. If he doesn't, that's going to be very sad. But LaMelo Ball should be playing today, which is big. It should limit some of Bridges' volume here. 4 or 5 on the road with LaMelo Ball to the under. So I like seeing that. Under in his last 4 games here versus the Indiana Pacers. The matchup is pretty much the same here with Pascal Siakam. Siakam's still the starting power forward. So I don't think it's necessarily the easiest matchup in the world. That should be the matchup you see with Bridges and Siakam. The only thing that would scare me there would be Bridges getting hot from 3-point range. That's the only thing that, where things could go south here. But being on the road, I don't really particularly see that happening. Obviously, it could. Like I said, the Pacers just haven't been good defensively this season, but we'll see, obviously, what happens tonight. Props.cash has this as a negative 1.6 projection as well, so they got him going under here as well. Like I said, this Pacers defense is bad, but you got guys like LaMelo Ball, Concanoopel kind of soaks up some of the volume here that Bridges could get. He's averaging around 16 shots a game, so I don't see him going crazy. He doesn't need to put up a ton of shots. He's got a lot of help here tonight. And I think, obviously, that's going to be the big reason why this goes under. So, love it there, guys, for our number 1 pick. We're going Miles Bridges, under 22.5 points here for the Charlotte Hornets. We got minus 112 odds here on DraftKings. Okay, and at number 2, we got Kevin Durant, over 34.5 PRAs here for the Houston Rockets. We got minus 115 odds on Fanatics. So, Durant is one of the guys that treated us pretty well this season. You guys will recall we took him versus the Milwaukee Bucks in that matchup, and I believe he put up 40-plus that day. So obviously he cashed pretty easily there. Really turned it on in the second half there. So really like his spot again tonight, though. He's over in 6 of 12 games this season, so that's 50%. 3 of 6 on the road. Durant, though, 3 of his last 4 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers this line, averaging 45.8 PRAs per game. And obviously the matchups have been about the same. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen have been a staple for the Cavs for a few years now. So he has really had those guys' number. So I expect that, honestly, to continue. Mid-range and down, Kevin Durant and his Cavs defense has also struggled at those areas of the floor. So I think Durant is going to be able to feast once again. And you also got Jabari Smith here listed on the injury report for the Rockets as questionable. So if he weren't to play, obviously that kind of helps too. I'm not too worried about him, though, as far as Durant's volume. Durant is going to be the guy tonight. I think that they go to try to get points and obviously try to score. I would be surprised if the Rockets don't go a little smaller here to match up with the Cavs. Obviously, we'll see what happens. This is a game where I could see Reed Shepherd entering the starting lineup. Now, will they actually do that? Probably not, but I think they should. Which would put Kevin Durant down to the 4, which is what I think they really should do. So, in either case, though, Durant's matchups, either versus a small forward or power forward position in the Cavs, are great. Obviously, as far as PRAs go, Cavs are 30th in PRAs allowed to power forwards, which technically Durant has been playing a little bit more small forward this season with the way the lineups are shaking out with Houston, with the way their height is. They had Jabari Smith Jr. at the 4, Sengun at the 5, and Durant technically at the 3. But Durant still plays power forward. It's kind of like one of those weird things, but Durant's 7 feet tall, guys. He's going to be down there looking for rebounds. He's like I said, he's going to be operating that mid-range. I think he'll be able to dominate this matchup. I really do. Lot of power forwards in the same type of situation have been pretty dominant versus the Cavs this year. We were on Aldama the other day, and he's not even a dominant power forward, but a very similar type of body type, I guess. And he ended up going over his PRAs pretty easily, and he left some on the table as well, as you guys know. I was pretty salty about that because we took his points. He finished with 12, and his line was 12.5. So obviously I was pretty salty. But I love his spot today. Power forwards, 9 of the last 10 here versus the Cavs this line, PRA cashing. So love to see that as far as cashing their PRAs. The only one that didn't cash was Giannis, who got hurt. We were on Giannis. That was the day we were on Giannis. He had like 18 in the first 5 minutes. So like I said, I think Kevin Durant is going to dominate tonight, particularly in the mid-range and down. I think he's going to have a lot of success tonight. Props.cash has him as one of the better projections today, plus 3.8 projection tonight, so they feel the same way about him, which I love that. And he's found his form of late. Last 4 games, he's averaging over 39 PRAs per game, so I also love to see that as well. So, love there for number 2 pick, guys. We get Kevin Durant over 34.5 PRAs here for the Houston Rockets, minus 115 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, and at number 3, we got Nikola Jokic over 12.5 rebounds here for the Denver Nuggets. We got minus 115 odds here on DraftKings, risking a unit here. So Jokic 8-13 this season in this line, 4-6 on the road with a low of 12 rebounds. He has had no less than 12 rebounds in all 6 of his road games. So I love seeing that. Honestly, he's been right there every single time. And this is a great matchup. Obviously, with the Pelicans, they don't have a lot of size down low at the center position. They're likely to get Zion maybe back tonight as well. But that doesn't change. Zion plays power forward. So Jokic is still going to be drawing some good matchups tonight. And I don't see them putting Zion on Jokic a lot. I just don't see that happening. Given the fact he's coming back, they're going to want to use him more on the offensive end. But 4 of his last 7 games versus the Pelicans this line, 2 of 2 on the road in New Orleans. So I like saying that. So the only concern I would have here would be, can the Pelicans keep this close enough to get Jokic some fourth quarter minutes? That's definitely a concern. The one thing I do like, though, is I think Jokic can cash this in the third just because he plays pretty much all of the third quarter. And obviously sits the beginning of the fourth and then, finishes out the game. So, obviously, his minutes down the stretch would be in jeopardy just because the spread is set to 14.5. But with Zion being back for the Pelicans, I can see the Pelicans being competitive here. With Zion coming back and with Murphy, with Herb Jones, I think they can keep it competitive in this particular spot. You got some players out here from the Nuggets as well, Braun, and a few others. So, I think the Pelicans can hang in there enough to keep Jokic on the floor. I just love this matchup so much. Pelicans ranked 28th in rebounds allowed to centers. Props.cash once again coming through. Plus 1.2 projection on Nikola Jokic as well, which is pretty solid there as well. So they feel like he's going to hit this over too, which I like seeing that. So love it there, guys. For number 3 pick, we're going Nikola Jokic over 12.5 rebounds here for the Denver Nuggets. Minus 115 odds here on DraftKings. Sorry, guys. I'm a little congested or something. Finally, for our number 4 pick, guys, we got the Toronto Raptors money line here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Minus 112 odds here on FanDuel. So the Raptors have been one of my favorite teams, to watch, but also to bet on. You guys have noticed we've taken a lot of Brandon Ingram this season, and he was pretty good to us, especially for our ladder challenges and stuff. He was pretty much becoming a staple because he was cashing every time. So I love this Raptors team, honestly. When I look up and down the lineup, I'm like, wow, they're really well balanced. They have a lot more talent. They're a lot more talented than you think they are. And they could definitely be a sneaky team this season. Definitely see them getting into the playoffs if they could stay healthy. Right now, pretty clean injury report for the Raptors, which is a pretty big deal. This team, for the most part, is really healthy, which says something when you got guys like, Brandon Ingram and Barrett on your team. These guys have battled injuries throughout their career. But they've stayed healthy so far, and so far they're off to a 9-5 start, and they look pretty good. Really on both ends. They're 9th in offensive rating, 12th in defensive rating, so very solid, near the top 10 in both categories this season. Ingram looks terrific. He's looking better and better with each game. Really like the way this team's constructed and like the way they're playing. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings here with the 76ers. If you go to the other side for Philly, their injury report is almost never clean, but it's really not clean tonight. You got Paul George out, Joel Embiid listed as doubtful, and Kelly Oubre out, which I think Oubre is a big loss. I think of the 3, I think Oubre is actually the biggest loss there. So I think it makes a difference here. I think the Raptors are going to have enough to overcome the Sixers here. Their depth, I think, will get to them a bit. Like I said, I love the depth that the Raptors do have. I'm excited to see what they do this season. I think this is going to be a really good. This is a team to me that's been getting better and better too. They did technically lose the meeting earlier this season by 10, 130 to 120. But I think there's, like I said, I think they get back here. I think they bounce back and they get this win. And I think more and more throughout the day, you'll see the line in favor of the Raptors. I don't see this going back in favor of the 76ers. I think the books are realizing it too. that the Raptors should be able to take this one tonight. And they performed pretty well against the spread on the road. They're 5-4, but they got a plus 6.4 differential on the road, which is second best in the NBA. So I like seeing that. Differential, I think, is a big stat because that usually is like, you know, how far the books were off on the spread, and the Raptors so far outperformed the spread, outperformed the books on the spread, which I love seeing that. So love it there, guys, for number 4 pick. We're going Toronto Raptors money line here versus the Philadelphia 76ers, minus 112 odds here on FanDuel. All right, guys, that's it for those picks. Now we got, of course, our straight fire. Or no, we're doing that in the end. We got our for the Sweep Parlay, guys, plus 1837 odds on Fanatics with our 50% profit boost they're getting us. The Shaq boost. So put that on there if you guys would like. Completely up to you what you guys want to do. Now, keep in mind, we did add Kevin Durant to get 4 rebounds to make it an SGP plus X, which goes with the PRA bet. Anyway, I think he's going to have to, he should get 4 rebounds tonight. So add that if you guys want to have the exact same parlay that we got here. That's what I did. Because otherwise you can't get the boost. I did that so we could get that 50% boost. Because you got to make it an SGP X or whatever. So 10th of a unit on that. And then, of course, we got our straight fire Faves Streak. $10 starting out at day 1 again. Hopefully we get rolling here. We got Kevin Durant today over 34.5 PRAs. 10 turns into 1870. So hopefully, obviously, we can lock this in and cash our straight fire Faves Streak. We'd love to see it, guys. Now let's get on a roll, guys. Today could be a big day for us. We can make a lot of units. We can make close to 6 units today. We'd be pretty excited, right? So hopefully, obviously, we can get that done. That is it for our picks. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. On the road to 10,000 subscribers. Guys, we're going to be better. We got to be better. There's nowhere to go but up, really, from here. This has definitely been my worst start to the season. An NBA season. Like I said, we're down 15 units to start the season. That is not what we envisioned, obviously, when we opened up. And really, the first week or two went pretty solid, and then the last 2 weeks have just been a train wreck. We've gotten definitely some bad raids. I've challenged myself. I got to be better. We got to be more. We got to really be sifted through things a little better and trying to figure stuff out because, I'm trying to figure out why Franz Wagner only shot 2 threes last night. Didn't make a lot of sense. And he didn't end up really looking for a shot. I mean, he didn't end up shooting a ton in general, which was surprising to me. Obviously with no Paolo Banchero, that was the big part of our bet. I know it was a tough matchup, but sometimes, guys, sometimes the matchups don't matter as much as you think they do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they really don't, though. Some guys just cash regardless of the matchup. Some guys put up shots regardless of the matchup. And that was the way that looked to me that was heading. Wagner was attempting a ton of threes without Banchero. So, obviously, I was sad that didn't work out last night, but we learned from it. We won't do it again. We're not gonna play Wagner in that spot again. Only in a green matchup there. But like I said, we're gonna be better. We're gonna keep working, and I appreciate you guys for hanging with me. And sorry for the late video today, but we're good. Let's lock in. Let's have a great day. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you all next time. Peace out.